Man, with all these disturbances in the force, I'm starting to create a Star Wars series going on with all these prequels and sequels. Thanks everybody for joining in again. Hopefully, we can all get back to the conversation. Let me see what the last thing couple of you'd said, because I know that there was a couple of comments. I think Corey just said that the internet was being fucky again. So, gosh, that's so frustrating. So absolutely frustrating. I don't understand why is my it's like my internet works fine all day, like anytime I need it, not an issue. And now all of a sudden I'm trying to live stream and my computer's like, I can't do it, Captain. It's too much. So see, like it's not loading this now. This is too much. Too much messing with the force. I shouldn't have this much struggle. Maybe it's because my Skype is still open. Task Manager performances. Thank you. And Skype, yeah, I know you do it, and Task. Sorry, guys. I don't mean to do that to you. We're just hanging out while I close all these things. Okay. I think that will help. Yeah, see, it's already working faster. Skype's a bastard to your computer, right? Like just having it on in a background task like slows the whole world down. It's a conspiracy. It is a conspiracy. They're trying to keep me offline, keep you guys uninformed. I'm trying to give you guys the real news, and they're trying to keep you guys on different pages. I want to keep you here, keep us all together. Huddle. Keep this echo chamber alive. Oh man, just okay, fine, close. I can't. I'm not going to look for anything else while we're doing this. Well, cheers everyone for coming back. I'll just wait for a little bit for the deep stuff, but back. They're coming. I know. I don't know what keeps happening to my internet. I'm sorry, guys. It's gonna bother the living piss out of me, but it's okay. We'll keep going for a little while longer, maybe another half hour or something. Why don't I talk about what is so coming June 9th? I'm going to be opening for Jen Smith again. I'm very excited for that. Oh, Jen, you just joined. Perfect. I'm very, very excited to be opening for that talk. I'm expecting a ton of interesting backlash. I'm expecting more people than I know how to count. And I only hope that I do Jen a good service, because what he has been going through, where he said recently that he is, what did you say? You're expelling cortisol, or you're excreting cortisol. You have so much. I couldn't even imagine. Like, I think my life is stressful because I'm going through court battle. I couldn't imagine the death threats that you've been receiving and the insane amount of vitriol. I hate that word. It's vitriol. The vitriol that I spew out of my mouth. That. Yeah, I did have babies with a psychotic woman. It really does suck. When am I going to mass? I go to mass every Sunday. So, and I'm going to mass back in Chilliwack now because I'm actually the bad guy who beats his kids has an aunt who's 71 years old that she's actually taking care of now, who's Catholic and has nobody to go to church with, and she can't get into church by herself. So, because I'm the shitty person I am, I absolutely offered to, walk her to and from her car and sit with her if she has to, just so that, she can go to church. The 71-year-old lady who, I have no connection to her in any way. I'm making sure this woman can go to mass, but yet man, I'm a demon. Don't you know it? I was talking about something else before we were talking about mass, and so Jen Smith, opening. I'm truly, I am truly blessed to even be able to hang out with him sometimes. I mean, like, I'm not going to try and praise him too much, because he's just a man, just like any one of us. But I really appreciate it when people who don't trust anyone or anything around them, at least trust me enough to be in their circle to some degree. I really do pride my friendship with him, because it was a lot of effort. Like, he definitely probably thought I was a shifty motherfucker for a long time, and had no idea why I was there. But if I could sum it up into one sentence, and like, I don't think you'll have any qualms with me saying this, like, I appreciate paranoid people. Just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you. I appreciate people who see things that other people don't see. I appreciate, because when someone is like that, when someone is, and not paranoid, crazy, staring out the blinds, but like paranoid aware, paranoid, winning my trust is a chore. It was a chore. I spent a long time. I even now, like, I know, like, it's, I understand why you are the way you are. I understand why you would have trust issues with people. Like, I mean, my problem is I trust everyone and everything, and that's why I've gotten into the situations that I have. And yes, I am shifty. I do have my own intentions and my own goals, and like, I mean, there's a rhyme and a reason to everything I do, even if it screws me up and I've got to backtrack and figure it out. I need to. I have a plan, and whether I'm of a small portion of that is piggybacking off of the names of other people. I mean, I think that's what anybody who's getting out into the public sphere is. I know, and that's the thing, is like, is knowing that they're out to get you, is eventually they're coming for me. So what's been going on with my ex and the battle, the court, and all of this, and then the fact, and it's so crazy, like, because everybody and their dog knows somebody that's, she's mean, and he's a drunk, and neither of them can raise their kids, but it's a battle, and like, the regular people with regular jobs. But like, my ex and I are like political, social, polar opposites. We believe in absolutely different things, and not only do we just believe in different things, but we've integrated those beliefs into our personal lives so much that, like, I'm doing opening lecture talks for activists, and she's picketing signs with the rainbow Nazis, all on her own. Like, it's one thing to like have views and differ on them, but like, we made them part of our lives. We made them like important. It wasn't just like a viewpoint. Like, it was like, it's like night and day, like, differences, and it sucks, because like my kids are going to be in the middle of that. Like, essentially, whether they want to or not, my children are going to like have to make a choice. And I'm not saying like, it's bound by me, because I will love my kids either way, and I'm sure she will too. Like, I'm not saying like, like there's any difference, but they are going to have to make a choice. They're either going to choose to believe in this victimhood narrative and live a lifestyle based on how oppressed they are and how hard life is, or they can choose what I believe to be more important. And this is really the truth of it, because my ex does live a victimhood lifestyle, thus the GoFundMe page, like the essential cat call of somebody who's in dire need. My life is so hard, I can't take care of it myself, so you need to do it for me. My belief is everything that you do, you were somewhat responsible for, even if it was just being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, the fact that you were there, there's a 5% responsibility, and you can blame everyone else and their dog and their cat for, you know, the reason why you weren't trained enough to be aware of the demon that you know came at. And I use the word demon, I just like saying it when, you know, bad people get in contact with your life, because in some way, like, that is a contact with evil. Like when someone ruins your life, you are being contacted by the essence of like of bad intentions. And so I always go with the extreme and call that person, I just say demons. Like it's not like Alex Jones demons. I like saying, like, you know, just mean people. Okay. Or she was rude to me, so she's a demon. It's just easier. Sorry, just seeing these rainbow Nazis. Like, really, they are. They know what you're posting and are trying to shut you up. Asses. That's too much energy to care about politics and other people's idiocy. See, and that's the thing too. See, and this is the thing. Like, you have your own views, and I work with a bunch of like regular guys. I work with a bunch of dudes, and all of them are totally aware of all of the things that I'm aware of, like, you know, Soji 123, and they're aware of the trans movement and the laws that are being put in place. But guess what? None of them could care less about doing anything about it. Why? Because they have lives. They have things that they have to do. They have families they're taking care of. They have dogs to run. They have businesses to run. They have houses to upkeep. Like they have things to do. And it's not to say that like I don't, or that I put any of those on the back burner, but it's like I found a hill and I chose the one I'm going to die on. I chose that if any hill is worth dying on, it's the one that protects your kids from fringe political ideologies. I would be much more I am way more comfortable with, as a Catholic, having children raised as as Muslims, as Jews, as even atheists, way more than I do as leftists. And I really mean that leftist term like importantly, because there's one thing for like liberal ideas like social freedom for all and totally lost my words there, like the libertarian, like just kind of like let everybody do it as they would, without like, you know, calling calling fire in a crowded room. Like, you know, leave each other to their own devices. I really think that that's replying to Adam reference. I don't agree that if a child gets molested, they don't have a part. Okay, I mean, yeah, we're gonna find fringe incidences where bad things have happened to people. Like, I completely agree. Like, I'm not taking that away at all. I'm talking about no, Skype, go away. I don't want you here. I want to keep my computer running nicely and calmly and without errors. So don't just turn yourself on in my lifetime, okay? Yeah, when kids, I'm just going to teach my kid to be normal. Is that a thing? Yes, it is absolutely, like, that is a thing. And that's what but here's the problem, is what's normal. Is it normal for your child to be 3 years old and be confused about their gender or sexuality? Is it normal for your child to be concerned about their sexuality? That's a big question, isn't it? Like, we're in a society now where we understand we're putting a psychological answer, or giving a psychological answer to everything. Everything is defined by your brain synapses and the things that go through your interactions before, like, you know, at pre-birth, at birth, as an infant. All of these things are supposed to shape your life and turn you into who you are, as far as I was aware. And somewhere along the way, somebody decided, and I mean, this is a really layman's term of what's going on, but like, I could maybe in another video when I'm a little more prepared and I have resources in front of my face, like, I could go into where these things came from. But somebody somewhere along the way decided that gender was a social construct, and, you know, your kids actually have no idea who they are until it's explained to them, and they're allowed they're allowed to be present to these ideas. And the thing is that gets me about, like, kids and transitioning and stuff is kids are so malleable and so susceptible to believing anything. I like when I was first like researching the trans movement. There was this video from Sweden, I think Sweden or Switzerland. Like it was one of the S's Nordic countries, Scandinavia. Thank you. There's this boy, and he was gender non-conforming or conforming. He was a boy, a girl. He was whatever he wanted to be, and the whole video he's talking about like some days I feel like this, and I don't see, like, I don't understand gender, like I like to wear dresses, and some days I want to wear blue. Like it was this total kid that was just living in a bubble of like uncertainty. And so the whole point of this video was trying to present like this kid gets it. This kid sees what's going on, and like he knows himself better than most adults do. And like the last 3 seconds of the video, the kid goes, and like I'm actually a little like almost surprised that they added it in there, because it kind of like took away the whole point to this video, that like this kid knew who he was, because he goes, and tomorrow I'm going to be a unicorn. And it wasn't funny for him. Like, it's funny for me because I'm like, oh, yeah, so this kid doesn't get it at all. But, it drove home the point that, like, this is, oh, yeah, you didn't, okay, good, you didn't cut out on me. Whew, I thought my internet shut off on me again because I have music playing in the background and it just stopped. I was like, I was, oh geez, now I'm so, if I like get on another thought for a second, like I lose everything I was just talking about. So horrible. I like, how am I gonna ever be a commentator when I like lose track of what I was talking about? If kids gender non-conforming and he knows himself, and oh shit, it just blows me away. Fuck, really bad at that. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'm gonna have to get better at this. I mean, I have been going for about an hour and a half now. I'm pretty good. I'm getting a bit better handle at this. I really do suck at like talking to myself. Like it is like a walking start until I can get running at it. And like once my brain's kind of like on fire, I can kind of just like shoot off these different topics a little bit. It helps when I have kind of people talking a little bit here and there, but it's because your mom hit you with a spoon. I mean, she did hit me with a spoon, but I mean, like, it wasn't like a big deal. It was just a wooden spoon. I was a horrible kid too. Like, I was actually a really like difficult child to deal with. My mom lived in a trailer park with me and my brother until I was 9. And I can remember my mom, like, I would have these temper tantrums for whatever reason. Like, she wouldn't give me a cookie or something. I remember, like, vividly remember, my mom locked me in the room, and it was like one of those crappy, like, thin plywood doors that like are on trailers. Like, they're basically like, you like, push your hand through it. I took one of those, like, it's the white rolly phone that you like, the rolly dial, and it's got the eyes on it, and it like makes noise like when you roll it on the ground. It's like it's got like the red handle, like everybody's seen it. It's super classic. I grabbed that toy, whipped it at the door, like like, get me out of my room, whipped it at the door, put the whole, like, the size of my head through the door. And I remember like looking at that door, and whatever in kid vocabulary I thought, oh shit. My mom came back and like opens the door, looks at the hole, looks at me, and is like, dead. Like, I was a horrible kid. When she, like, when she had to, like, when she spanked my ass as a kid, like, she one hand over my back, one leg over my 2 legs, because I would like fight so hard, and then she's one hand just to like smack my butt. And I mean, she tells me these stories like this is all secondhand information, like this is what she's told me, but like, she only did that like 3 or 4 times. I mean, it's not like my mom was just like beating me red ass every day, like abusing me as a kid. Like, I mean, when I was 5 or 6, I told my mom to go to hell. And I mean, when I told her to go to hell, she sat me down and explained to me the true implications of telling somebody to go to hell, like telling her like what I wanted her to die and live in a fiery place forever. Guess what? I never did. Never told my mom to go to hell again, because like, you know, like, I mean, maybe like some things hit you in some places and some don't. Like, you know, these memories are my own. I remember my like saying these things to her. I remember when my mom, not the spanking. I don't remember any of the spankings. I remember, like, you know, I remember the door and I remember the hole, but I don't remember like any, like, I don't have any like traumatic childhood experiences where my mom was mean to me. I pulled a lot of shit in Rosedale. I wasn't mean, but I wasn't nice. I wasn't I wasn't a bully, but I wasn't like I wasn't just fucking sunshine and rainbows all the time. Like, I picked on people. There's probably a large handful of people that deserve apologies from me for like crap that I did to them. Nothing that's like, I didn't do anything like to cause like, you know, suicidal bullying. Like, I never like, you know, shoved somebody in a locker or gave them swirlies or like sent a threat or anything like creepy or like nothing gross like that. Just like okay, so we had this one kid in middle school, and like, Kelsey, you might remember him. I'm not gonna name him, but like he was like a nerd in school. He was like, you know, he wore like Walmart Nike runners. He wore like sweatpants and glasses and played video games. And like, this one time we're in art class, and it's actually so funny because like I'm still like amazing friends with her. My friend is in art class, and she's looking at like Greek sculptures, right? Like, she's trying to like get reference and stuff. And so there's no, I'm not going to tell, it wasn't him, but it's someone like kind of like him. I'm just not going to tell you. I'm not going to name him. But one time we're in art class and she's looking at these statues, and like some of the statues are topless, and he like, and I don't know why you would do this to yourself, like social suicide. He out loud and like verbatim goes, "I can't look at that. That's for me and my mom only to see." And I was like, oh no, you didn't say that. Like, you didn't just commit social suicide in front of everybody in a middle school. So I mean, like, this kid, I tried really, really hard to be friends with. Like, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make this kid's life easier in some way. Like, I don't know how or what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna be nice to this guy. So I made a really big effort to like be nice to him and be his friend. I like, in my head, I was like, I'm gonna teach this kid to be socially like normal, because I was socially normal, right? Spoon abuser joined. Oh my gosh, sorry mom, threw you under the spoon bus. That's so funny. So I tried to befriend this guy, and he like wasn't into it at all. He was like, he would like talk to me, but it was really like, why is this person talking to me? And then one day he said something to me really rude. Like, he was just like, why? Like, I don't want to be your friend. Like, I don't want you to be nice to me. Like, go away. And I was like, fine, like, screw it. I'll just whatever. And then like a fucking like clockwork, every social studies period, he would leave the room for like 20 minutes. He would go to the bathroom, and like 20 minutes, every single socials class, he was gone. And like, eventually somebody goes, I think he's masturbating. And all of us are like, yeah, he's probably masturbating. And so 20 kids in this class are talking about him being gone for so long. And he finally comes back, and somebody goes, hey, were you masturbating in there? And man, this kid's face goes redder than a blood cherry tomato. Like, he was like, no, I don't do that. And all of us were like, oh no, he's doing it. So then like it was over. This kid was like the kid that masturbated during class, and like I was part of it. Like, I was in on it. It was funny. Like, and I mean, like, that's what, like, and I'm not saying it's okay in any way, but like, that's kind of like what happens when you're a kid. Like, sometimes sometimes you do shitty things to get into the group and get into the crowd. Sounds like my ex. Okay, so I'll tell you a story about your ex. because he's a ginger. I used to like bug him. It wasn't even bugging. Like it was like, you know, like just kind of because I was friends with him. Like, I mean, I'm still like, if I saw him, like I'd still treat him like nicely. But we used to call him Pumpkinhead, and he fucking hated it, and like rightfully so. And like, you know, 1,000 kids call you Pumpkinhead for like 10 days straight. Like eventually, it's gonna get fucking annoying. So our principal at the time was like, you can't call him Pumpkinhead anymore, otherwise you're gonna go into like you're gonna get detention. So one day I called him Pumpkinhead, and he like I didn't think he was gonna tell the principal, but he did, and I totally like I mean like it's funny like. It's really funny. I lied my ass off to the principal. I was like, I wasn't. He's just being like oversensitive. We were just talking about pumpkins, and I was talking about like jack-o'-lanterns, and I forgot what they were called. I was calling them pumpkin heads, and he was just happened to be there and was like, "They're calling me pumpkin heads again." He's like, oh, "Okay, I see what happened. It's okay. Like, don't worry about it." I was totally calling that fucker pumpkin head the whole time. I was such a piece of shit. Oh man, like it's not okay to lie. Lying is bad, but when you're getting yourself out of trouble for being a shitty fucking 8th grader, like fucking lie, okay? I'm gonna call him Pumpkinhead from now on. Don't. He'll know where it came from, and he'll call me. Yeah, he just didn't. He really didn't like Pumpkinhead, and so like, man, like I mean, like I did shitty things when I was a kid, like. Okay, like, and to go back for you, Kelsey, like Garth, like I did something mean to Garth, and it wasn't even like, I see, like, because like I don't consider this bullying. Like you're just kind of being a douchebag. Like bullying is like when you like ostracize somebody for, you know, having dirty clothes or something, like something that they can't control, like or, you know, make fun of the funniest thing that ever happened to me that I totally got burned for is we're on the bus, and this is like also like same year, like grade 8. We're on the bus, and like this one kid, he's like, "Hey, did you guys know that when you masturbate a lot, your palms get really hairy?" And I went, "Really?" And I was the only person on the bus that was like, "Huh?" Oh man, I had like hyenas, like just hyenas ripping at my soul, like like oh, it was so bad. Like I've like, you know, I've been bullied for stuff too. Like I fucked up so many times. But what I did to you know, this recent comment for Garth, and I mean like it's not nice because it, you know, whatever. But Garth was or is handicapped to some degree. Now, I don't know if any of you people have hung out with people who are handicapped in ways, but some of them are aware that they're handicapped. This child in school, I don't have hairy hands, so that's incorrect. So we were in school, and he would like not pick on people, but he'd kind of be like douchey. Like he would like, you know, get mad about things or say like, and like to girls, like I remember this one time, this is what kind of like struck it off for me, is they were doing something, like they were in his way or something, and he called them like little bitches or something, like he called them a name. And so they told the teacher like, hey, he just called us names. And he straight up turns around and goes, I'm retarded. Like they're making fun of me, and I didn't do any of this. And the teacher goes, you can't make fun of the retard. Like you can't make fun of like handicapped kids. And so like he, and like, you know, almost like, you know, like he's like holding her, and he looks back at the kids, and he's like smiling. Like it was really like that kind of like gross. Like, you know, it's like, you know, somebody has a disability and they're using it to nefarious advantage. So, I mean, like, you know, after that, it was like hunting season. So this one time I was pretending to be sexually attracted to Garth. I was like, Garth, your hair looks nice today. Like I just want to touch her hair. And he's like, don't touch me, get away from me. I was like, Garth, please just let me touch. I just want to touch your hair. Like I just want to come. So we're in computer class, and I came up behind him, and I was like, oh, your hair is so nice, Garth. And I rubbed my hands on it, and that was it. That's all I did. And he fucking went 0 to 100, grabs a chair, throws it across the room, launches over these two random, you know, bystander girls. Couldn't remember who they are now. I caught the chair and was like, Garth, you can't react like this. This isn't okay. Yeah, he did. He threw a chair at me, and so he storms out the room and tried to pull his move again. And I'm like, no, he threw a chair at me. Like he funny. I do, like, he was having a heart attack and threw a chair, and so I'm like, yeah, I was being funny, and like, and because he had thrown a chair, everybody kind of like was like, he screwed up, even though I was being the douchebag. Like, that's the only. That was pretty mean. That was kind of a mean thing that I did. And I'm not like proud of it. It's a funny moment in life. It's a funny story, but I'm not proud of what I did. Like, it's not like, I'm not like, if my son came to me and told me that story, I wouldn't like high five him. You know what I mean? Like, that's not cool. It's not cool to pick on handicapped people, but like, as a story, like, things happen. Like, people are shitty. People suck sometimes. So yeah, like, that's, I mean, I did a lot of other crappy things in like middle school, but I mean, I don't really want to talk about them. Like, I can talk about some of them, but most of them, it's like, man, like, I don't want you guys knowing how much of a jerk I was. If you really want to know how much of a loser I was, my Facebook is still open. Like, you can go to, like, 2013, 2014, and or not 2013, I mean like 2008, I guess. Jeez, that's so long ago. And see what I posted and what I thought was cool and funny. I thought that, like, doing drugs was like the coolest thing in the world. I had so many people that were like, man, why do you post about like getting way too high and stuff? And I would fucking say the dumbest shit, like the dumbest stuff, because I just thought that I was like, slick shit Rick. And man, I had a lot of growing up to do. I had so much growing up to do. And I mean, like, I was never like opposed to it. Like, I never had like Peter Pan syndrome or anything. I never was like I never had any. Oh, I just tilted a bit. I think I did tilt it. Whoa, hey everybody. I never did have like an issue with anything like that. I always knew that, like, eventually, like I said, like, right from 6, like, I knew I wanted to have a family and be a dad, but like, what was it? I remember being a youth for years. I was like, I don't have to get my shit together until I'm like 22. Like 22, like, you're still young, you're still a kid. As soon as you're like 23, 24, and then like 25, I was like, that's it, game over. You've got to start being an adult. Like, I gave myself like years to just slack off and do nothing. And it's like, I had a lot of, other than like some of the crappier things I've done in the past, like, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun slacking off with my friends, and like being like, I got fired from, I got fired from like both my first jobs, actually. My first job when I was in grade 8, and then my second job when I was 16, when I was in grade 10. My first job, oh my God. My boss was a dick. He was really rude. It was this greenhouse nursery that was down beside the ice Seal Test is what it's called, Kent's ice cream store now, but it's gone through like a million names. He used to own the greenhouse nursery right beside it, and he was my friend's dad, and I was like, oh sweet, pay me $8 an hour. And like, it was super, like, it was my first job like ever doing anything other than washing dishes at my house. And like, my second day there, I went up to my boss after like finishing like 3 or 4 things. Like, I had like folded up some cardboard boxes, and I was like organizing flowers and stuff. And I went up to him and I was like, hey, I finished all this stuff. What would you like me to do next? And he goes, I don't know. What do you think you should do? Or no, it's like, he said, what did he say? He's like, I don't know. You do what you think you need to, or you do whatever you think you need to do. And I was like, what do I think I need to do? Like, I don't know what to do. What I think I need to do. Like, I think I need to go home. I think I need to get paid to go home. Like, that's the way, like, what I, in my head, I was like, what is this guy's deal? And so after that, like, everything was really, really weird after. It was always like, anytime I asked him a question, it was always like these kind of like half, like, I don't fucking know. Like, go figure it out, kid. Like, go do something. Go be busy somewhere else. And so it was my first job. I slacked off, and there's another kid there. He's like a year or two older than me, so he's like so much more mature. He had been working there for like a couple months, and I was like this slack off kid. And this is like I would only been working there for like a month. and he put us both back into like this compost bin, and he hired a crew of brown people, and like it's fine and all, but like none of them spoke a lick of English, or nor tried to, nor wanted to. They socialized with themselves, and there's this huge compost pile in the back where they throw all these like the old pots and stuff. Well, they're supposed to like throw the dirt out of the pots. Well, they would just throw the pots in there because me and the other white boy get to go and like take care of it. And it was literally like they just didn't care. Like, I'm not saying like, it's not a race thing. It's just this group of people, they were just like, fuck everybody, fuck this job, I don't care about anything. And so me and this kid, like, he sent us back there for hours to pick apart this dirt pile that's like 12 feet tall, like 12 feet wide, of just this mound of dirt that's taller than me. And I'm like finding like broken like plastic pots and stuff. And eventually, like 3 hours through the day, I start messing around and like throwing dirt at Buddy, and like trying, like I was just like, we're screwing around. And then eventually, because my friend like lived there, like he lived on the property, I found a toy gun on the ground, and I like I found this toy gun, and I like started shooting Buddy, and we're like messing around in between these pallets that are like kind of like off to the side of it, like we're just like screwing around. And all of a sudden I'm like leaning up behind a post, and I like turn the corner, and there's my boss staring at me in the face, and he's like, fucking around, are you? And I was like, yeah. And he's like, well, it's like, what do you think I should do with you? And I was like, like, I don't know, like what do you want to do? And he's like, I think both of you need to get fired. And fucking Buddy I was with, he's like, I don't want, like, he's like almost crying, like he didn't want to screw around. And so I told my boss, I was like, listen, fire me. I was screwing around. I don't really care. Like, honestly, I really don't. But this kid, I screwed him over. Like, he doesn't deserve to be fired. He was trying to work this whole time, and I kept distracting him, and like honestly, like, don't fire this kid. And like, I mean, to make myself look good, like I did do that. I was like right, like in the situation, I was like, don't fire him, fire me. I was a piece of shit, but don't fire this kid. And like, as far as I know, he didn't fire him. Maybe you fired him later or whatever, but like as far as I know, he didn't fire him. And that was my first job I lost. And then my second job, I worked at Clark's Family Restaurant, and like my boss was there. He is also kind of like, he wasn't a dick, he's just weird. He was this Potter House Christian, and like he knew I was Catholic, and I still went to church even at the time. And he would always like invite me to like the Potter House and like try and get me to go to church with him. And I was like, I don't think I can, dude. Like, I think I can only go to a Catholic church. He's like, no, you can come, like, just come hang out. It's fine. It's not a big deal. And I was like, no, I don't think I can, man. And he would always play these really horrible, like, and it was so bad. They weren't even like just Christian rock songs. They were Christian rock songs that were like remakes of popular rock songs. So there was like Guns N' Roses, like Welcome to the Jungle, like, Jesus, Jesus, like that. And then there's one that it was Pearl Jam, and it was Even Flow, but it was like, Jesus Flow. And they were so bad, but I knew the words to the rock songs in them. And so when he would play them in the kitchen, because I was a dishwasher for like 3 or 4 months, I would sing the actual song louder than his like rock version. Oh man, he fucking hated me. There were so many times like I would just show up like stoned as motherfucker and just be like, I'm washing dishes, and like, long greasy hair. Like, I didn't think anybody was the wiser. Like, you're such a fucking idiot sometimes. And so he ended up firing me, and I mean, like, it sucked losing your job, but also like, I deserved to lose my job there. I totally did. I've never been fired from anything after that. Everything was, I got laid off from Langley Concrete, which sucked, because that was a really, really good job. I kind of like shit the bed on the company, but I didn't get fired. I didn't do anything intrinsically to lose my job. I just obviously wasn't the best, like, it wasn't a good enough employee. But I mean, that was years and years ago. Man, how did I get on this job rant about things that I had done? But the losing those jobs, like, kind of showed me like what responsibility was in some sort of way. Oh, Derek, that's where I met you, bro. Is that the Angry, or is that at Clark's Family Restaurant? You and your brother, man. Man, long time ago, so long. At that time, like I was 16. I wasn't living at home. I wasn't living at home because I wanted to smoke pot. That was the only, like, my mom was like, if you want to stay at home, you can't be smoking weed. And so I thought I was hip shit and left. And I was on my own for a while, and it got me into some really crappy situations. But I was living like a block away with like two, like I wasn't living with, I was actually living off of them for a long period, like I think really the whole summer, almost, maybe like May to August. I lived with these guys, um and like, man, just so many crazy, like, oh, I can't, it's not opening. Let's see. Sorry, I got sent a Facebook message. It's very important. Dum dum dum. Sorry, everyone. Just waiting for this to load. My internet, like my computer's being so slow. Max, go. Oh, yeah. I guess I can do that. You could just tell me, like. Okay, well, unfortunately, everybody, it is getting late. I've got to to put my kid to bed, and I mean, I've been on this for like 2.5 hours now, so I think I did a pretty good job. If any of you want to link and share this, so that hopefully like the relevant information that I started with, passed on to the LGBTQ page that so much loves me, that would be awesome, because at least if these people have just at least the other side of the story, at least maybe we can do something with that. Like, I can go somewhere. But to finish off, like, having, to beat a dead horse is, if my ex is going to start a fundraiser and convince people that she needs money to save herself and my children from me, I'm not just gonna sit down. Like, the court system is slow and burdened, and it sucks, and it is what it is. But I'm never going to, like, I mean, I'm not saying I'm never going to, but it's never moving fast enough. I'm out of options. So if she's going to pin the public against me, I'm going to defend myself and speak my truth. The truth. The truth is the truth story. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in for this lovely 8th edition. I'm hoping to do many, many more. And have a great night. See you guys later.